Looks like I have a problem. There's more than just old clothes in my closet. There's something fresher, like a corpse. Looks like I have a problem. No, not some minor everyday inconvenience like running out of coffee or my neighbor once again parking his junker in a way that traps my car. I have a real problem. There's a corpse in my closet. And unfortunately, that's not a metaphor. I'm standing in the middle of the room, wearing only socks, a cup of coffee in one hand, and the closet door in the other, staring at something that definitely doesn't belong in my wardrobe. Yep, there it is, just lying there, pale as my resume after the last round of layoffs, with an expression that suggests they realized at the very last moment that they'd chosen the wrong life plan. I slowly close the door, count to 3, open it again. The corpse is still there. Okay, no need to panic yet. Maybe this is just a hallucination. I decide to pinch myself. Ow, that hurt. All right, not a hallucination. I shut the closet door again and start thinking. Options. 1. Pretend I didn't see anything. Second, run. Doesn't matter where, just far away. 3. Call the police and say, "Good evening, someone left a corpse in my closet." What do I do? None of these options sound great. I open the closet again. The corpse is still there. Well, damn, I mutter. Only I could get this lucky. All right, decision made. I'm calling 911. By the second ring, a calm voice answers. 911. What's your emergency? I open my mouth to respond, but that's when I notice the strangest thing. The corpse is gone, as if it had never been there. 911, what's your emergency? I say nothing. Not because I don't know what to say. I know exactly what I want to say. Something like, "Hello, there was a corpse in my closet, but while I was calling you, it somehow walked away. Could you please give me a manual on how to handle situations like this?" But something tells me that instead of sending detectives, the operator would send a psychiatric team. I take a slow, deep breath in and out. "Hello? Do you need help?" The voice on the other end grows more insistent. I think fast. Most likely I'm just overworked, exhausted, sleep-deprived. I mean, a dead body can't just get up and leave, right? So I hang up, rub my eyes, and open the closet again. Empty. No body, no bloodstains, no note saying, "Thanks for the hospitality. I enjoyed lying in your closet." I slowly close the door and head to the kitchen. I desperately need a stronger coffee. As I heat the water, an unsettling thought creeps into my mind. Let's say I wasn't imagining things. Let's say there really was a corpse. Where did it go? It didn't just walk away on its own. That's a fact, which means someone took it, which means someone else was in my apartment. Shit. I rush to the front door, check the locks. Secure. Windows closed, balcony also locked. Maybe I'm dreaming. I pinch myself again. Nope, wide awake. Which means I've just become a suspect in a case where I don't even know who the victim is. I take a big gulp of coffee, even though it burns my tongue. Now I have exactly 3 options. 1. Pretend nothing happened. What if I really am losing my mind? 2. Go to the police. How do I even explain that the body just vanished? 3. Find out who set me up. Great plan. I'm an office worker, the best detective among people who have never investigated anything in their lives. I hate bad ideas, but for some reason, I like the third one. I decide to start with the simplest thing, checking the closet for anything unusual. Maybe there's some evidence left behind. I cautiously open the door and immediately jump back, because inside there's a piece of paper. Scrawled on it, in messy handwriting, are the words, "You are in danger." I stop breathing. The note sways in the draft as if mocking me. "You are in danger." Oh, really? No kidding? As if I didn't already figure that out when there was a corpse in my closet, and then there wasn't. But that's not the real question. Who left the note? I slowly scan the room. The apartment is empty. The door is locked. The windows are shut. One of us is losing their mind, either me or someone with a very twisted sense of humor. I decide to deal with that later. For now, I need to gather evidence. I pick up the note between two fingers, like a detective in a cheap crime show, and examine it closely. No fingerprints, no signature, just a piece of paper and a message, as if the jagged letters were carved directly into my peace of mind. I slowly sit down on the couch and try to analyze the situation. Facts. I found a corpse in my closet. The corpse disappeared. Someone left me a note saying I'm in danger. Yeah, not the best morning of my life. I decide to check the apartment again. Someone must have been here. But how? I start walking around, inspecting the windows, the doors, and then I notice something. A faint, damp footprint on the floor, leading from the closet to the front door. I freeze for a moment. So the corpse was alive? But then, who left the note? At that moment, there's a knock at the door. I jump. Shit! Could it be him? I creep toward the door, peek through the peephole, and almost scream. Standing outside is Mr. Parker, my neighbor, the one who never leaves his apartment. He lives like a creepy hermit, yet here he is, staring directly into the peephole, sending chills down my spine. I open the door. "Good morning, Cody," he says slowly, with an unsettling smile. I barely stop myself from blurting out, "Yeah, real great morning." Yeah, good morning. You didn't hear anything strange in your apartment last night?" My throat tightens. Noise? So he heard something? No, not really," I mumble. He tilts his head slightly. Then he says the scariest thing of all. "Be careful, Cody. I think someone is watching you." I don't even get a chance to ask questions. He turns and walks away, leaving me alone with my spiraling panic. Okay. Now I have another fact. My neighbor knows something. Which means it's time to start a real investigation. I close the door and lean against it, trying to process everything. Someone is watching me. There was a corpse in my closet, and then it disappeared. My neighbor has suddenly become some kind of creepy prophet. What a fantastic day. Just amazing. I take a deep breath, grab my cup of now cold coffee, and without taking my eyes off the door, down it in one gulp. That was probably the worst idea ever because, despite being cold, the coffee somehow still burns like molten lava. "Shit," I yelp, trying not to scream in pain. Great. Now I have a burnt tongue, a missing corpse, and a neighbor who clearly knows something I don't. Okay. I need to talk to him. I step out of my apartment and knock on Parker's door. My mind races, trying to come up with something to say. "Hey, do you happen to know why there was a corpse in my closet? And if you do, will you tell me? Or should I just start laughing hysterically and call the cops?" But before I can come up with anything remotely appropriate, the door swings open. Parker stands there, looking at me as if he's been waiting for me his entire life. "Come in, Cody." I freeze. He didn't even ask why I was here. Shit. This is getting more suspicious by the second. His apartment is... Well, how do I put this gently? If Stephen King, Sherlock Holmes, and some ghost hunter decided to live together, this is exactly how their place would look. Bookshelves everywhere, newspapers scattered across the table, a huge city map pinned to the wall, marked with red dots. Wait, am I on that map? And the weirdest part, a pile of newspaper clippings with headlines like, "Mysterious disappearances in the city center. Man goes missing. Last seen at Glen Street Cafe. Police baffled. Why are the bodies nowhere to be found?" I clear my throat nervously. Parker, Are you, like, doing some kind of private investigation? He gives me a strange smile. These things happen when the city has mysteries the police fail to notice. I glance at the map. The red dots form a circle, and right in the center is my street, my building. Parker, why is my building in the middle of your map? He narrows his eyes at me. You really don't know? I hold my breath. Know what? Parker pauses for a moment, then quietly says, because you're the next target. I blink. What? I ask, because maybe I misheard. You're the next target, Cody, Parker calmly repeats. Oh well, since he said it again, that makes me feel so much better. Just kidding. I feel like absolute shit. I stare at him with wide, terrified eyes. Parker, let's clarify. What do you mean by target? Exactly that. Someone in this city is killing people, and I'm afraid you're on their list. I laugh. No, seriously. I burst out laughing until my nerves finally give up. You've got to be kidding me. Parker, I'm just a regular guy. I even pay my parking tickets on time. Why the hell would someone want to kill me? Parker shrugs. That's what we need to find out. I walk over to his desk and scan the newspaper clippings. You're seriously investigating this? Parker nods. Yes, because the police aren't. Do they even know you're single-handedly working on a case that people with guns usually get paid to handle? Parker ignores my question and points to the map. See these red dots? These are the locations where people have disappeared. I look. There are too many dots. Wait, there are more than 10. Parker nods grimly. And not a single one of them has been found. A shiver runs down my spine. You're saying, yes, Cody. They disappeared just like your corpse. I feel the blood drain from my face. I glance at his closet. Parker, are you sure you don't have a corpse in your closet? He frowns. Number, but if you want, you can check. No thanks. I turn back to the map. What connects all these missing people? Parker swivels his monitor toward me. Here, look. I've been keeping notes. And they all... He stops mid-sentence. I can already tell I'm not going to like what comes next. They were all, in one way or another, connected to this building. Wait. I freeze. My brain tries to process this information, but it really doesn't want to. Parker, are you saying we have a serial killer living in our building? He nods calmly. Not impossible. Great. Just fantastic. I start pacing the room. So, someone wants to kill me. A serial killer might be living in our building, and I just found a corpse in my apartment. This is wonderful. Just the best day of my life. Parker takes a slow sip of his tea. That's why we need to start investigating. I stop in my tracks and stare at him like he just suggested I jump off a balcony. We? Well, yeah. You don't want to just sit around and wait for him to come after you, do you? I don't. But I really don't want to investigate a damn serial killer either. Parker leans in slightly and lowers his voice. If we don't find him first, he'll find you. I have no choice. I take a deep breath and lift my head. Fine. Where do we start? Parker grins. With your apartment, of course. I groan. Perfect. If I wasn't already in trouble, I sure as hell am now. I sit in my apartment, staring intently at my closet, which now fills me with an overwhelming sense of anxiety. Parker paces the room, sniffing the air. Why? And scribbling something in his notebook. What exactly are you sniffing for? I ask, eyeing him suspiciously. He puts on a serious expression, inhales deeply through his nose, and says, I smell... danger. I raise an eyebrow. No, dude, that's just my neighbor cooking fried fish. He huffs and continues inspecting the apartment. All right, let's start with the main thing. Parker points at the closet. Where exactly was the body? Reluctantly, I step closer and open the closet, right here, between my old jacket and my deep hatred for Mondays. Parker leans in, carefully inspecting the shelf. That's odd. What's odd? I'm already on edge. No traces, no stains, nothing. Oh, fantastic. So I just imagined it, huh? Parker straightens up and looks at me like I just asked if water is wet. No, Cody. That means someone is really good at cleaning up evidence. Perfect, just perfect. Not only am I a potential murder victim, but now I'm dealing with a neat murderer. Parker pulls something out of his pocket. Here, take these. I frown at the object in his hand. What is it? Gloves. Put them on. You're a detective now. You can't leave fingerprints. I snort. Parker, I live here. My fingerprints are everywhere. Exactly. We're looking for someone else's. I sigh and pull on the gloves. Parker crouches down by the bottom of the closet and then he finds something. Hey, now this is interesting. He carefully lifts a small scrap of paper. I lean in to take a look. It has one word written on it. Bridge. We both stare at the note in silence. I swallow nervously. Is this evidence? Parker studies the paper. Possibly. Or maybe it's just a random piece of paper with the name of a movie that my forgetful brain left here. Parker ignores my dumb theory. Is there a bridge in the city with that name? I think grimly. Not sure, but if there's one place in town to hide a body, it's under a bridge, Parker finishes. We exchange a look. Summary. The corpse disappeared. I found a note saying I was in danger. Now we have evidence hinting at a bridge. I lift my head and lock eyes with Parker. We're going there, aren't we? He grins. Of course. This is our first real lead. I sigh, grab my jacket, and mentally say goodbye to my sense of safety. All right, let's go. If I die out there, just know, I bequeath my coffee maker to you. Parker smirks. I won't let you die. You still have rent to pay. I roll my eyes. Oh, great. Now I'm truly motivated. I have no idea why I agreed to this. Maybe because I love adventure? Nope. Maybe because I can't sit still? Also nope. Or maybe because if we don't catch this maniac, I'm going to be the next one to get offed. That sounds about right. Either way, Parker and I are heading toward the bridge, and that's when the problems begin. First, I curse myself for not bringing pepper spray. Then I curse Parker for his annoying optimism. Do you have any idea how many people die under bridges in movies? I ask as we approach. Yeah, but this is real life. You say that like it makes this less dangerous. Parker grins. If we get killed, you can say, I told you so. Oh, great. That's such a comfort. We pull up near the bridge, and the moment I see it, I know. This is either the place where we'll find a crucial clue, or the place where our detective careers end permanently. The wind howls in the distance. The streetlights flicker like they were designed for a horror movie. Below, the dark water churns. Because of course it does. There's definitely something unpleasant hiding down there. I clench my fists. So, what exactly are we looking for? Parker quietly examines the railing. Hopefully, not what you're thinking. We start our search. I use my phone flashlight, feeling like an idiot in a low-budget detective show. Parker, let's not find a corpse, okay? You already found one, Cody. Time to get used to it. No, thank you. But then, Parker stops. Did you find something? Silence. I tense up. Parker, say something. You're scaring me. Slowly, he turns toward me and holds up a small, crumpled piece of paper. I step closer and read the words. This is only the beginning. I stare at the note, then at Parker, then back at the note. Okay, I'm officially panicking. Parker presses his lips into a thin line. So, someone knew we'd come here. Oh, fantastic. What, is the serial killer just polite enough to leave us clues? I glance around nervously. The wind sounds louder. I get that horrible feeling, the one that tells you someone is watching. Parker gestures toward the note. This was left recently. The paper is dry and it rained last night. A chill runs down my spine. So, someone was just here, right before us? Parker nods, and then we hear footsteps behind us. I freeze. So does Parker. The footsteps are steady, purposeful. Someone is walking straight toward us. I clench my fists, even though that's about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. Parker whispers, "Don't move." I whisper back, "Oh yeah, sure. I was totally about to run up and offer them tea." We stand there like two deer caught in headlights, staring into the darkness. The streetlight flickers like we've just stepped into a horror movie. And then, a man steps out from behind one of the bridge supports, tall, wearing a long dark coat. His steps are measured, unhurried, deliberate. I shrink into a bundle of nerves. Parker, of course, stands straight like he doesn't have a care in the world. "Excuse me, are you looking for something?" the stranger asks in a cold, polite voice. I don't even get a chance to respond because Parker already steps forward. "We're just taking a walk." "A walk? Where? On a bridge? A T4 in the morning?" The stranger repeats the word almost like he's tasting it. "A walk." I swallow hard. "This is a dangerous place," he continues, "especially for those who stick their noses where they don't belong." I try not to choke on my own panic. Parker naturally stays as calm as a damn refrigerator. "We just wanted to enjoy the nighttime atmosphere," he says with a smile. "What about you?" The stranger tilts his head slightly. "Me? I was just looking for something." His eyes slowly drift downward, to the note, the one we're holding right in front of his face. "Fantastic, Parker. Brilliant disguise work." A moment of silence stretched tight like a live wire. I'm about to blurt out something stupid, but then the stranger does something unexpected. He smiles. "I see you've already found it. So I suppose there's no need to explain that this is a warning." I freeze. Even Parker tenses slightly. "You left this?" I ask, surprising myself with my own bravery. The stranger slowly shakes his head. "Number, but I know who did. And if you want to stay alive, you'd best forget about all of this immediately." He takes a step closer. "This isn't your game. You've gone too far." Parker doesn't move. Me? I'd honestly love to vanish into thin air right about now. The stranger nods toward the road. "I hope we don't meet again, for your own good." Then he turns and disappears into the darkness. I don't move until his footsteps fade completely. Only then do I release the breath I've been holding for way too long. "Parker, can I ask a question?" "Go ahead." "What the hell just happened?" Parker and I stay frozen for another minute. I try to process the fact that a man in a dark coat just threatened to kill us. It's not the first time I've been threatened. Thanks, overdue utility bills. But this time I'm genuinely afraid for my life. I slowly turn to Parker. "So, we're just gonna go home now, right?" Parker shakes his head. "Number, we need to find out who that guy was." I roll my eyes. "Oh, of course, because he totally didn't just tell us to forget all about this." Parker looks at me like a teacher staring at a particularly dumb student. "You really want to just walk away, forget everything, and hope a serial killer doesn't come after you?" I think about that for a solid 10 seconds. "Yes." "No." I sigh loudly. "Fine. What's next?" Parker grins. "We need to check the security cameras near the bridge." I blink. "And do we have access to those?" Parker pauses. "Number, but we can get access." I squint at him. "I don't like that smile, Parker." We pull up to a cafe near the bridge. "Why?" Because the cafe has security cameras. Parker decides he needs to befriend the manager. I'm not thrilled about this plan. Parker, do you really think someone's just gonna let us look at the camera footage? Parker nods confidently. I'm sure they will. Why? Because I'm an excellent liar. We walk into the cafe. Parker immediately switches into character. Good evening, sir, he says cheerfully to the manager, who looks like he hates his job. We're from the security agency Eagle Eye. We've been asked to check your cameras due to reports of suspicious activity in the area. I nearly choke on my coffee. The manager blinks. You're serious, Eagle Eye? Parker doesn't flinch. Yes, sir. It's a government initiative. We're fighting against, street crime. The manager snorts. That sounds sketchy. You got any ID? Parker pauses for exactly 2 seconds, then smoothly responds. Unfortunately, our lead analyst, left them at the office. But if you just let us take a quick look at the footage, we can make sure everything is safe. The manager glares at us, full of suspicion. I hold my breath. And then he sighs. Fine, whatever. I don't get paid enough to care. The computer's over there. Parker grins and winks at me. I throw my hands up. Okay, now we just need to find something useful. I can't believe my luck. The manager actually gave us access to the cameras. Either he's the laziest person in the world, or he's paid so little that he's willing to overlook any nonsense. But I don't care. The important thing is, we have the footage from the cameras facing the bridge. I sit down in front of the monitor. Parker stands next to me, arms crossed. All right, let's see what we've got here. I pull up the footage from last night. Fast forward. Fast forward. Stop. A dark figure appears on screen. A tall man in a long black coat. I gasp. That's him. Parker nods slowly. Yeah, and he's leaving something. We watch as the man approaches the bridge's railing, pulls something out of his pocket and leaves it there. I hit pause. That's a note. Parker squints. And now, the most interesting part. I fast forward. A couple of minutes later, the camera shows me. I freeze. Holy crap, that's us. We watch as we ourselves walk up to the bridge and find the note. Parker sighs. Okay, at least now we have proof that we didn't set this up. I blink. Have you seen movies? Usually videos like this aren't proof of innocence, they're a death sentence warning. But then something strange happens. Another figure flickers on the camera. I rewind and hit pause. My heart drops to my stomach. In the background, in the dark, there's someone else standing there. At first, I don't notice the details, but when I realize, I feel a chill run down my spine. Parker. What? Look at his hand. Parker leans in and stares at the screen, then freezes, because the person is holding a corpse. I mute the sound on the camera because I don't need it anymore. The image speaks for itself. Cody, Parker says slowly. I see it, buddy. You don't have to explain it to me. Parker sighs deeply. All right, here's what we have. A man in black leaves a note. Then someone else shows up, and this second person is carrying something suspiciously like a corpse. A wave of panic hits me. What if it's the same body that was in my closet? Parker doesn't rule it out. Then that explains where it went. I turn to him. Parker, do you realize what that means? Parker raises an eyebrow. That we now have 2 maniacs instead of 1. I pinch the bridge of my nose. Yes. We fast forward. The figure with the corpse disappears into the shadows. Where they went is unclear. I try not to freak out, but how can I not freak out? I turn to Parker. Okay, what do we do next? Parker looks at the screen, then at me. We need to find out who this person is. I blink. Okay, and do you realize that we don't have any names, faces, or even a clear street? Parker raises a finger. But we do have a direction. He went toward the abandoned warehouses. I already know where he's going with this. Number, no way, don't even think about it. Parker puts on an innocent face. But, Cody, we're detectives. I jump up from my chair. I'm not a detective. I'm a guy who's being targeted for murder. Parker rolls his eyes. Even better. If we don't find them first, they'll find you. I sigh. Great. Which hellhole are we heading into now? Parker grins. The old warehouses on the outskirts of town. I cover my face with my hands. Of course. Couldn't we have picked something a bit more pleasant, like, I don't know, a pizza place? Parker shrugs. Maniacs rarely hide bodies in pizza places. I sigh and grab my jacket. All right, let's go. Lead me straight into the trap. If anyone ever asks me, Cody, do you want to spend the evening in abandoned warehouses with a maniac? I will say, no thanks. But unfortunately, my partner is not the kind of guy who asks for permission. Parker confidently drives the car through the dark streets, as if we're not heading out to find corpses, but rather going to a party. I grumble in the front seat, trying not to think about how many horror movies have started this way. Remind me again, why did we decide to come here right now? I ask, hugging myself, just in case. Parker responds calmly. Because there are fewer people at night. I snort. Yeah, and more maniacs. Parker nods. Exactly. If they're hiding something, they'll do it at night. I close my eyes. I really don't want to be a corpse. Parker smirks. Then just don't be one. Oh, thank you, my Zen master. It's so simple, right? We pull up to the location. Huge rusty gates, darkness, complete blackness. I go silent. Parker remains silent too. It seems even he understands that we'll either find evidence or we'll be the ones found on the news. We get out of the car. You know what you're doing? I ask, looking at him. Absolutely. I roll my eyes. Yeah? What if someone meets us here? Parker smiles. We'll say we're wandering antique dealers. Are you serious? No, of course not. I don't have a plan. I start to get angry. Then what the hell are we doing here? Parker shrugs. At least it's fun. I take a deep breath, trying not to kill him before the maniac does. We walk inside the warehouse. The creak of the floor beneath our feet sounds like a horror movie soundtrack. I shine my phone's flashlight, but it doesn't help. The darkness swallows the light. Parker, do you have any weapons? Number, how about you? Just the keys to my apartment. Well, maybe we can stab someone with them. Thanks, Parker. That really calms me down. We keep moving until we see something strange. Footprints. Wet footprints. They lead straight into the warehouse. I feel my hands grow cold. Parker, this is normal, right? Parker looks at the footprints, then at me. Number, this is not normal. I want to suggest we leave, but then I hear a sound, a dull thud. Someone's in the depths of the warehouse. Parker instantly goes silent, tenses up. I press myself against the wall, trying not to breathe too loudly. Steps, heavy, measured, and a muffled voice. You weren't supposed to come here. I press myself against the wall. Parker freezes next to me. The footsteps grow closer. The voice in the dark speaks again. I told you, you shouldn't have come. I look at Parker with an obvious, how do we survive this, expression in my eyes. Parker whispers quietly to me, stay calm. We don't know who this is. Maybe he's not dangerous. I roll my eyes. Sure, because when maniacs appear in the dark and say creepy things, they're usually really friendly. The figure finally steps out of the shadows. It's a man in work clothes. He's holding a crowbar. He looks at us like he's deciding whether to crush us with it. I can feel my legs shaking. Parker takes a step forward. Good evening, sir. We're just... Get out of here. His voice is dull, cold. I finally decide to ask, "Why?" The man looks at me like I'm an idiot. "Because if you don't leave, no one will ever see you again." Great. Parker raises his hands and takes a step back. Okay, we got the wrong door." "Wrong door?" I hiss. "We walked into a dark, abandoned warehouse. This doesn't look like a restaurant." Parker smiles at me, but that smile says, "If we die, at least I tried." The man stays silent, studying us closely. Then he does something strange. He looks down at his feet. I follow his gaze, and I see blood. I can't breathe. A small, almost invisible puddle of blood on the floor, and it leads deeper into the warehouse. Parker notices it too. "What's this?" he asks calmly. The man tightens his grip on the crowbar. "You don't need to know." I glance at Parker. We have two choices: run and pretend we saw nothing. Ask what's going on here and possibly die. I really want the first option, but Parker's already opened his mouth. "Listen." "No." I grab his arm. "We're leaving. Thank you. Goodbye. Good luck with everything." I turn and pull Parker toward the exit, but then the scariest thing happens. A new voice comes from behind us. Quiet, chilling. "Leave them. They're mine." We freeze. Another figure steps out of the shadows, and I realize we're definitely in over our heads now. I freeze. Parker stops breathing too. The new voice came from somewhere in the darkness, and now a figure steps out of it. Tall, dressed in black. His face is half hidden by shadows, but it's clear he's calm. As if Parker and I aren't just two idiots who stumbled in here, but instead are special guests. This doesn't make me feel any better. "You weren't supposed to come here," he says again. I glance at Parker, silently thinking, well, here we are. Parker doesn't respond, just watches him carefully. "Who are you?" he finally asks. The man smiles slowly. "I'm the one who asks the questions." I groan quietly. "Great, here we go." The guy with the crowbar doesn't seem so dangerous anymore. He looks more like a guard than the main villain. But this new guy, he's the real threat. I feel it deep in my bones. Parker steps forward. I grab his sleeve. "Are you out of your mind?" "Relax, Cody. I just want to understand what's going on." "It's pretty clear. We're about to be killed." Parker ignores me and looks at the man. "You say we weren't supposed to come here, so you knew we'd find this place?" The man slightly tilts his head. "Of course. We've been watching you for a long time." "Great. Fantastic. Why me? And what do you want from us?" Parker stays calm. I almost respect him for this, but I'm not feeling respectful right now. "Nothing. For now," the man answers. "For now?" I almost choke. "So you're planning something later?" He remains silent. Then he looks at me in a way that sends chills down my spine. "You shouldn't have found that body." I feel the world tilt slightly. So, the body was real, and it wasn't there by accident. Parker shifts his gaze to me. "Cody." "I didn't do anything," I blurt out quickly. "But you saw something." "Yes, but I don't want to see it. Can I just go home and forget about all this?" The man shakes his head. "Not anymore. I officially hate my life." Parker quietly says to me, "Cody, get ready to run." I stay silent, because now I'm not just ready. I'm already running. I've never run this fast in my life. Actually, I hate running. Running is what people do when they wake up at 5 a.m. and post pictures on social media with hashtags like #healthy lifestyle. I'm not that kind of person. But when someone is looking at you, clearly deciding that you won't survive until morning, you run. "Left!" Parker yells. "What left?" "Your left. We're both facing the same way. We have the same left. Run, Cody!" We turn and dash between old containers. Behind us, there's the sound of footsteps. Shit, they're chasing us. I try not to look back, because if I do, I'll trip, break my nose, and then die. To the exit, Parker yells. How do you know where the exit is? I don't know, but I'm hoping. I think about his logic, but realize we don't have a choice. We reach the old iron gates. Parker pushes them. They don't budge. I scream in frustration. Great, we're done for. Parker looks around. We need to find something to open them. I glance around and spot an old toolbox. Stall them, I shout, running toward the box. How? Tell them a joke. Parker turns to face our pursuers who are getting closer. Do you know what a falling cow is called? I turn around with the key in my hands. Are you seriously telling jokes? Parker shrugs. Did you have a better plan? I insert the key into the lock and turn it. Click. The door swings open. Parker, run! He turns and jumps toward me. We burst outside. The gates slam shut behind us. I press my back against the wall, gasping for air. We made it, for now. Parker looks at me. Cody. Yeah? We've made everything even more complicated, haven't we? I groan. Yes, Parker. We're sitting in the car, gasping for air after running. The warehouse is behind us, but I still feel its horror hanging over me. So, I say slowly, let's recap. Parker wipes his forehead and nods. We found the warehouse. Yep. They almost killed us there. Yep. Now we have more questions than answers. Absolutely. I inhale through my nose, exhale through my mouth. Parker. What? How about we just leave the country? Parker ignores my brilliant suggestion and starts the car. We need to figure out what's going on. I throw my hands up. Then figure it out, but without me. I don't want to get involved anymore. Parker doesn't even look at me. You think they'll just let you go? I fall silent. Because he's right. I'm already tangled up in this. I can't escape. Parker turns on the headlights and drives down the road. We need a plan, I scoff. I have a plan. Don't die. That's more of a goal. So that's my plan. We drive in silence. I can't stop thinking about the people at the warehouse, about the note, about the body in my closet, about why they've been watching me. And most importantly, who are these people? I know what we need to do, Parker suddenly says. I look at him skeptically. Are you serious? Yes. We need to find that man in black. I roll my eyes. Yeah, let's just ask him for his phone number. Parker smirks. Number. But I have an idea where to look for him. I swallow hard. And where is that? Parker shifts gears and speeds up. In one very specific place. I groan. Of course, because this nightmare can't just end. Parker, let's clarify right now. What exactly do you mean by specific place? I ask cautiously as he turns off the main road and heads into some forgotten part of town. Parker doesn't take his eyes off the road. A place where people who know everything about other people's business hang out. I squint suspiciously. Parker, yeah? We're heading to a mafia bar, right? Parker nods. Pretty much. I close my eyes and exhale. Why? Doctor, we always go into the most dangerous places. We pull up to an old building that looks like it should have been demolished 10 years ago, but someone just forgot about it. There's no sign at the entrance, just a neon light flickering like it's about to burn out. What kind of place is this? I look at Parker, searching for the last shred of common sense. The Red Lantern. You brought me to a bar called the Red Lantern? It's not what you think. I cross my arms over my chest. Oh, of course. It's probably just a place where grandmas meet up to knit, right? Parker smirks. No, Cody. It's a place where you can buy information. I sigh and get out of the car. The door to the bar looks heavy and ominous, like something out of an old gangster movie. Parker pushes it open and we step inside, and I immediately realize I'm not welcome here. The bar is dark and smoky. Behind the counter is a bearded bartender with a face that's clearly survived a few fights. In the corner, a group of men are playing cards, occasionally shooting us displeased glances. Everything looks like one wrong word, and I'll be thrown out the window. I lean toward Parker. I really want to leave. Relax. Give me 5 minutes. We might not have 5 minutes. Parker walks up to the bar, sits on a high stool, and nods calmly at the bartender. I nervously look around, preparing for the worst. The bartender slowly wipes a glass and asks gruffly, "Did you get lost?" Parker smiles. "Not at all. I need information." The bartender sets the glass down and crosses his arms over his chest. "Information costs money." Parker pulls out a few bills from his pocket and places them on the counter. "I'm looking for a man, tall, in a black coat." The bartender stays silent for a moment, then smirks. "That's bad." I feel a chill run down my spine. "Why bad?" The bartender leans in closer and whispers, "Because you've already been caught." At that moment, I hear the door behind us close. I turn around and see that the exit is blocked. 2 huge men are standing by the door, staring at us without a trace of emotion. I turn to Parker. "You've brought us into a trap." Parker remains calm. "Don't worry, Cody, it's all under control." The bartender grimly smiles. "No, kid, now we are in control." I'm officially screwed. Parker, of course, is acting like everything is under control, but I see the 2 giants by the door, the menacing bartender, the dark looks from the other patrons, and all I can think is, we're dead. The bartender approaches, leans in and looks at us like a teacher eyeing failing students. "You're either very brave or very stupid." I pretend to think this over. Probably the second option. Parker stays calm, like he's trapped in a situation like this every day. "We're just looking for information. We're not causing any trouble." The bartender smirks. "You know who says that? People who don't make it till morning." I swallow nervously. "Thanks for the motivation." The giants by the door take a step forward. I quietly panic. Parker keeps his hands on the bar, but I can tell he's tense too. "Let's do this," he says. "We'll leave. We'll just leave, and nobody gets hurt." The bartender chuckles. "It's not that simple, kid. If you're looking for the man in black, you've already gone too far." I gasp. "Great. So we haven't even found him yet, and we're already in trouble." The bartender crosses his arms. "Yup." Parker looks around. I see his brain working at full capacity, but there's no way out. Then he does something strange. He grabs his drink from the counter and downs it in one gulp. "Whew, strong," he says. "Now I'm ready for a fight." I sigh. "Seriously?" "We're going to fight." Parker nods with a grin. "Do we have a choice?" I look at the giants closing in on us and feel my legs betray me. Great. Just great. The bartender signals, and one of the brutes moves toward us. Parker exhales. I realize it's now or never, and we start the fight. Honestly, I wasn't planning on fighting today. I have no combat experience. The most I've ever defeated in my life is a mosquito in my bedroom, and even that doesn't always go well. But right now, I have to fight a guy who looks like he lives off dumbbells and could crush me with a stare. Fantastic. "Parker, do you have a plan?" I yell, stepping back. "Yeah, hit first." "That's a terrible plan." But there's no choice. The brute swings at me, and I barely manage to dodge. Parker jumps in from the side and punches the other brute in the stomach. It looks impressive. The problem is the guy doesn't even blink. "Parker, what the hell? I thought it would work." "Did you see him? He's a living bulldozer." The brute charges at me. I try to come up with something. Then I see a bottle on the counter. I grab it and throw it straight at the brute's head. He freezes. I freeze. Parker freezes. The bartender freezes too. Everyone watches the brute. The bottle hits his forehead and just falls to the floor without breaking. I take a slow breath. What the? And at that moment he lunges at me. I don't have time to react. Parker tries to help, but the second brute grabs him with one hand and throws him into the counter. I hit the floor, feeling the world spin around me. Well, here we go. Now it's definitely over. But then something unexpected happens. The bar door crashes open, and a voice full of authority says, "Leave them. They're mine." I lift my head, and I see him, the man in black. I'm lying on the floor, feeling like a crushed burrito. Parker lifts himself up from the counter, rubbing his head. The brutes are frozen. The bartender is tense. Everyone is looking at the person who just entered. The man in black. He stands in the doorway in his long coat, with an indifferent expression on his face. His eyes are dark, icy. He looks like he just figured out how he's going to kill us, but is keeping it to himself for now. I nervously swallow. You, I stutter. I, he answers calmly. Parker blinks. Well, nice to meet you. The man in black steps forward. The brutes step back as though even they are afraid of him. The bartender doesn't seem happy either. I said, "Leave them," he repeats. The brutes exchange glances but move aside. The bartender exhales quietly. "Do you know what you're doing?" The man in black nods. "Always." I try to stand up, but my legs are shaking. Parker gives me a quick glance like, "Don't screw this up." I already screwed up, thanks. The man in black watches us intently. "You were looking for me. Now I'm here." Parker wipes blood from his lip. Yes, he's been hit. "So you knew we were coming?" "Of course. And all this," I gesture at the bar, the brutes, my shattered self-esteem. "This was a test." The man in black doesn't answer. He just watches us like he's deciding whether or not we deserve to live. Parker decides to ask the main question. "You left the note on the bridge?" The man in black looks at him, then slowly nods. "Yes," I blink. "So you warned us?" He slowly smiles. "Number I warned the one who's chasing you." I chew on that in my mind. "Wait, so the note wasn't for us?" "Yes." But then, suddenly Parker realizes what he's saying. He narrows his eyes at the man in black. "Who's chasing us?" The man in black tilts his head to the side. "Do you want to know the truth?" Parker and I both nod. He smiles slowly. "Then follow me." I silently look at Parker. He silently looks at me. I whisper quietly, "This is a really bad idea, right?" Parker nods. "Yes." I take a deep breath. "Well, all right. Let's go." We leave the bar, trying not to look at the brutes by the door. I still don't understand why they're afraid of him. I mean, yes, he looks creepy, but aren't they the tough guys who beat people up for money and break knees? Parker leans over to me and whispers, "Why do they listen to him?" I nervously look ahead where the man in black walks steadily. I don't know, but I don't like it. "Where are we going?" I finally ask. The man in black doesn't stop walking. "To a place where you'll get answers." "Oh, how convenient," I mutter. "You could have just said, somewhere in the fog." He's silent. Parker decides to clarify. "Can we trust you?" The man in black turns to face us, his expression still unreadable. "No." I stop. "Could you have said that earlier?" Parker just smirks. "All right, Cody. Do you think we have a choice?" I turn around. The bar, the brutes who clearly hate us. The city where there are already too many questions without answers. Shit. No, we really don't have a choice. "All right, I'm going." But if we get killed, just know, you owe me $500. For what? For emotional distress. We get in the car. The man in black doesn't tell us where to go. He just looks straight ahead. Parker looks at me. I look out the window, saying goodbye to a normal life, and we drive into the unknown. We drive in silence. The man in black sits in the back seat, staring out the window as if he doesn't care what happens next. Parker drives, clearly nervous. And me? I'm just trying to figure out how the hell we're still alive. Where are we going? Parker finally asks. The man in black doesn't take his eyes off the road. To the source of all your problems. I raise an eyebrow. So we're going to the guy who put the body in my closet? He nods slowly. And not just him. I feel something inside me tighten. I don't want to know this truth. I don't want to know who and why decided to ruin my life. But now there's no turning back. 40 minutes later, we pull up to an old house on the outskirts of the city. The house is huge, dark, like something out of an old Gothic film. I slowly look it over and quietly say, "No, I'm not going in there." Parker raises an eyebrow. "You don't even know what's inside." "And I don't want to know. This house literally screams, 'There's a maniac in here.'" The man in black opens the car door. "You can leave, but then the answers stay here." I sigh. "Well, great. Now I have to go in, right?" Parker pats me on the shoulder. "It'll be fun." I quietly whisper, "You're lying." We step inside and immediately realize we were wrong. Because there's someone in the house. I look at the old house and hate my curiosity with all my heart. If I had just not looked into that damn closet, if I hadn't found the body, if I hadn't gotten involved with Parker, I'd be at home right now, warm under a blanket, watching a show, eating pizza. But no, I'm walking into this eerie house with a suspicious guy in black and my crazy friend. The house smells of dampness and dust. The floor creaks beneath our feet, the walls are cracked, and somewhere in the distance, water drips. I look at Parker. He looks at me. We both know this is a bad idea, but of course, it's too late. "We're not alone here, are we?" I ask the man in black. He nods. They're waiting for us. I exhale heavily. Of course they're waiting, because any self-respecting maniac always waits for their prey. We move further down the hallway. Suddenly, a voice from the darkness. "You're late." I jump. Parker freezes. The man in black remains unfazed. A man steps out of the shadows, middle-aged, in a sharp suit with cold eyes. He looks at us as if we aren't people, but chess pieces. And he says, "Welcome to the game." I don't know what's worse. The fact that this guy in the suit is talking about some game. The fact that I'm involuntarily part of it. The fact that Parker looks like he's even enjoying it. I take a deep breath and step forward. "Listen, Mr. Mystery, I'm really not interested in playing your games. I just want to understand, what the hell is going on?" The man slowly smiles. "But Cody, you're already in the game. You've been in it from the very beginning." I look at Parker. He shrugs. "Well, sounds scary, of course. But maybe you could explain it in simple terms." The man in black quietly sighs and says, "I warned you. But now you'll have to learn the whole truth." The man in the suit nods and continues. "You see, Cody, you found something you weren't supposed to find." I roll my eyes. Yeah, the body in the closet, I got it." The man smirks. That was just the beginning." I feel a chill run down my spine. "What do you mean, just the beginning?" The man in the suit slowly steps closer. "You think you found someone's body?" "No, Cody, that was a test." I freeze. "What?" Parker looks surprised, but not as shocked as I am. "Wait, you're saying the body in the closet was staged?" The man in the suit nods. "Exactly. We wanted to test your reaction. I feel a headache coming on. So, wait a minute. You're telling me I went crazy for 2 weeks and you were just testing my reaction? The man in the suit calmly nods. Yes. I clench my fists. Could you have just asked? Parker raises his hand. All right, so what's the point of the test? The man in the suit tilts his head. We're looking for people with a certain mindset, people who are capable of thinking outside the box. I blink. And why do you need such people? He smiles. To make them part of our organization. I slowly take a step back. No. I don't want to be part of anything suspicious. The man in black calmly says, It's too late, Cody. You're already in this. I cover my face with my hands. Parker sighs. All right, let's say we don't want to play your game. The man steps closer and quietly says, Then we'll just take you out. I officially don't want to be here. The guy in the suit calmly talks about how we could be taken out, and I'm trying not to faint from the stress. Parker remains unfazed. Are you threatening us? The man in black turns his gaze toward him. This isn't a threat. It's a warning. I roll my eyes. Oh, well, thanks. That doesn't make me feel any better. The man in the suit steps forward. You're smart, perceptive, resourceful, I interrupt, and we don't want to participate in your damn game. The man stops, narrowing his eyes. Do you think you have a choice, Cody? I feel my heart drop to my stomach. Don't I? The man in black calmly replies, If you were an ordinary person, we'd just forget about you. But you dug deeper. You found the body. You came here. Now you know too much. Parker and I exchange a glance. He understands that the situation has gotten out of control. I whisper quietly, We're screwed. Parker nods. Up to our necks. The man in the suit opens his arms as if offering a deal. I'll give you one last chance. Either you join or... He doesn't finish the sentence, but I already get it. I look at Parker. We understand each other without words, and then he whispers quietly, On 3, we run. I almost scream. Are you serious? 1, 2. I turn and run as my lungs begin to burn. Parker runs beside me. Behind us, I hear, Catch them! Shit, I'm running faster than I ever have in my life. Parker is slightly ahead, his breathing steady. Mine, however, is just a symphony of a dying asthmatic. Right, Parker yells. I turn into a narrow corridor, slam my shoulder against the wall, but don't stop. Heavy, fast footsteps echo behind us. They're catching up. Shit. Where? I scream, because the corridor leads to a dead end. Parker quickly looks around. The only exit, an open window. It's closed, high, and very scary. Don't tell me we're jumping. Parker sighs. We're jumping. I shake my head. No, I'm not jumping. Parker grabs my hand and jumps first, and I fly down with the speed of a panicked scream. We crash into some bushes. My ribs are screaming. Why? Parker jumps up like he just laid down for a picnic. Fast! In the car! I get up, barely breathing, and run after him. We jump into the car and start the engine. People in suits are already running out behind us. Come on, Parker, floor it! He slams the pedal to the floor. The tires squeal, and we race away. I look in the mirror, and I see the man in black. He's standing, watching us go. His lips slowly stretch into a smile, and I realize this isn't over yet. We sit in the car, silently watching the horizon. The sun begins to rise, coloring the sky in warm shades. But inside, I feel an icy cold. I realize this isn't the end. Parker smiles slightly, but I see the fatigue in his eyes. We survived, Cody. I rub my temples. Surviving is one thing, but figuring out what to do now, that's a whole different story. Parker pulls out his phone. I think we need to disappear for a while. I nod. Yeah, let's just move to Hawaii, get some goats, and sell coconuts. Parker snorts. You'd probably kill the first goat. Doesn't matter. The point is, no one will find me. But we both know the truth. They'll find us. They always find us. The game isn't over. It's only just begun. Parker leans back in his seat. Well, Cody, what do we do now? I look at him, then out the window, then back at him, then back out the window. I sigh. Well then, let's tear their whole game to hell. We sit in the car watching the rising sun. The air smells like freedom and fear. We survived, but inside me is the feeling that this isn't the end. Parker leans back in his seat, thoughtfully twirling the keys in his hands. What now? He asks, looking at me. I remain silent, because I don't know. They won't leave us alone. They'll find us. They always find us. I glance at the rearview mirror, the dark road stretching ahead. It's like a hint, like a clue. Parker snorts. Well, Cody, maybe it's time we fight back. I slowly smile. Damn right. Far from us, in a dark building, the light goes out. The phone rings with a short, sharp tone. The man in black picks up the receiver. They're gone. A pause. The voice on the other end is quiet, almost a whisper. Let them think they're free. We already know where to find them. Would you have acted the same way as Cody? Leave a comment and share what you think about this story. Don't miss out on more thrilling stories. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell so you're the first to see the continuation. What will happen next? We'll find out in the next video.